Hello, my victorious ones. This is Animohi. Just want to be real positive. I'm going to switch into the Swag Master Sway character for a little while. Just for a little while. And up it up. Hello, my victorious ones. I hope you are living victoriously. This is the beautiful Swag Master Sway, who is feeling woo in the wonderful nature, enjoying the great day right here in Hastings, Hawke's Bay, and I will take out my opponent at any day of the week, make him leak, going on a streak. Yeah! Back into Animohi now. Overextension of the positive sides and stuff. So this recording is WWE versus WCW. Diamond Dallas Page versus Mick Foley. How they are both, how each person is inferior to the other, and how each person is superior to the other, and who is the best character and athlete, in my humble opinion. First of all, let's start off with Mick Foley. As he was on the winning side, which was WCW, that was the winning, WWE, that was the winning team at the end, right throughout the, a couple of decades. It was back and forth between WWE and WCW, and then there was a time period where they were on the same night. Two different shows were on the same night, so they called it Monday Night Wars. In the end, WWE won the war, won the ratings war. A lot of the WCW stars were bought out. Half of them were bought out, and so was half of the ECW ones. The leftovers went to TNA, which was like actually half of the champions. Only half of the big stars signed up with WCW. With WWE. And ECW only signed up with WWE. But Mick Foley, as a result of him being on the team of the winning side, has had all this reputation go with him. 3-time champ. He's very different, but I just think it would make a really great match, you know. 3-time WWE champ. Diamond Dallas Page is the 3-time WCW champ. And Mick Foley has, when you think of hardcore wrestling as a child, I thought as throughout my childhood and my teens, I thought of Mick Foley as the big stunt devil guy, everything like that. So everyone, now looking back, and there's a few other guys, but looking around the evolution, the beginning and the evolution of the hardcore style of professional wrestling, Mick Foley was the man that we knew of. And because we watched WWE here in New Zealand and WCW, but WCW went off the air after it ended. So looking back and having access to YouTube and all that, looking at ECW and then a lot of stuff we missed from WCW when they merged into TNA, as well as, you know, WWE. There's a lot more characters now, but still Mick Foley is the one who made it the most famous. But then you had the originators that are real legendary for that reason, such as Terry Funk. Mick Foley was the one who took it to the next level. These other guys were just like his chair or something. But then when Mick Foley got involved for a while, everything was those types of matches, and now it's like he introduced a ladder, so like ladders and tables and things like that. It wasn't very popular. And yeah, so he's a hardcore legend, and his character is a very brilliant character. So yeah, that's my viewpoint of Foley. Hey guys, how are you? That's good. Yeah, so there's that. And all the things with the Hell in a Cell and all that type of thing, you know, when he won the title for Brock, a huge assist by Stone Cold, but doesn't matter, because his character had been around for so many years throughout the indie scene, throughout the other scenes, through WCW and ECW, which is not quite as big as WWE, but it was because it was on TV throughout the States and different parts of the world. And by the time he was given the belt, as a result of the Stone Cold Steve Austin character helping him, he'd been on the WWE TV for a couple of years, at least 3 years, maybe longer, might be 5 years. So even though he had the assist, they definitely well deserved it. And Rock had heaps of assists when he was champion. So WCW's Diamond Dallas Page, Mr. South High Five, one of the most positive characters that there is. Like, there's other ones that were like really negative and they're bad guys, and there's other ones that were negative but they were fighting against the bad guys trying to do good things. And then there was some who were just athletes, they didn't have that, all that other stuff. And then you had the real positive ones. And one of the most successful, real positive ones was Diamond Dallas Page. You know, that character was had the song South High Five. He used to do himself South High Fives, and his saying was, "I'm too cool." And he used to encourage everyone that you can overcome the odds. You know, his storyline was he came from a family that was so disoriented. Mother had multiple partners, and a couple of them were alcoholics who beat him up. Others were things like that. So that's the character's backstory, but he had developed this habit of self-loving and looking at the glass being half full and accepting himself for who he is, and he just so happened to have a passion for wrestling, so he became a professional wrestler. So he's a real, you know, positive character. The WCW and TNA version of DDP. When they brought him into the WWE, he was highly underused. He went up. He had a main event match against the Undertaker and a couple other things like that. But he was like never won any of the major titles, and they portrayed him as, because he was from another organisation, this very small time he was there, which was like 1 maybe 2 years. He was portrayed as like this psychopath who would do anything to get the upper hand of his opponent, including kidnapping someone's wife. And so basically with the money they get paid, they get told what to act. So I'm talking about the TNA and WCW DDP, which is where he spent the high majority of his career, well, definitely over a decade between the two, and he only spent like 2 years in WWE with that sicko character. So I choose not to remember him. And in real life, he has this thing called yoga, and he helps people overcome addictions so that none of them are. He's quite straight edge, to be honest. No drinking, no smoking, no taking drugs, no running around having heaps of sex with just whoever, you know, so long as it's stable relationships. He doesn't do the other three things, and he's doing, and he introduced people to yoga and meditation and all these things like that, and talks about being one with nature and stuff. And this is him in real life, because I didn't even know about it for nearly 15 years. Turns out that's what he'd been doing since he'd was it either quit or wasn't getting enough work in the wrestling. But the character is just much more positive. Obviously, he's not as creative when it comes to expressing the darker sides of humanity, and he's not as creative when it comes to hardcore stuff. But he's a real the character was a real technician in the ring. Like, if you look back at the time, showman moves, like, he had the diamond cutter, but then he could do so many variations of the diamond cutter. All the basic moves that they know today, he knew. So at the time, his character was a very well adapted wrestler. So these are the areas where I think they are both inferior and superior to each other. I honestly think that if the